It is 7 o'clock on Tuesday, December 17th, 2019, and we are going to open the Committee of Committees meeting. You do roll call, please.
Yes.
I have my pen. I need my glasses.
Committee member Dina Simpson is absent. William Lexinger is absent. Jen Christensen. Here. John Talbot.
Here.
Chris Samples.
Here.
Jared Doan.
Here.
Village President Rick Worm.
Here.
Treasurer Brenda Onabate. I, Deputy Clerk Jess Pearson, am here.
We entertain a motion for William Luxinger to participate remotely.
Motion to let William Lushinger participate remotely due to work.
Second.
So John makes a motion to allow William Luxinger to attend remotely due to work. Jen seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
William Lexinger.
Here.
Thank you.
William is present, 7:02. Okay, so we have a consideration of the minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the November 19th, 2019 Committee of Committee minutes.
Second.
I like when you guys are fighting over them. So Jen makes a motion to approve the November 19th, 2019 minutes. Jared seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes at 7:02. Does anybody have any questions on the water or fuel reports?
No.
All right, then we will move on.
FOIA report. Anybody have questions on the FOIA report?
Nope.
We'll move on to the treasurer.
Okay. We have Lindsay Fish from
There's a push button. Is it green?
Hello.
You're there.
All right, so as Brenda said, my name is Lindsay Fish. I'm a senior manager at Sickich. And I'm going to go over the annual financial report, so that's the biggest report you have on your pile there. Lucky you.
First one. Annual financial report.
It's the biggest one.
He's not familiar with it.
He's a bean counter by trade, so watch him.
I don't know what they're
So let's
talking
start, it's about 3 pages in. It's actually page number 1. It's the document that's on Sickich letterhead. This is our independent auditor's report. Just a few things to highlight here. Second paragraph down notes management's responsibility for the financial statements. I'd just like to highlight that management is responsible for the preparation and presentation of these financial statements in accordance with the modified cash basis of accounting. Next paragraph down shows our auditor's responsibility, and our responsibility is to express an opinion on these financial statements. Next page, second paragraph down is the opinion. In our opinion, the financial statements present fairly in all material respects the modified cash basis financial position of the governmental activities, business type activities, and each major fund of the village as of April 30th, 2019. What does this mean? This means we have issued a clean, unmodified opinion. This is the highest level of assurance we can provide, so congratulations to the village on receiving that unmodified opinion. If you flip a couple pages after the basic financial statements divider, this is your statement of net position modified cash basis. So you have 2 columns on here. One is the governmental activities, one is the business type activities. The governmental activities are going to be your tax supported funds, so your general fund, motor fuel tax fund, and TIF fund. And then business type activities are going to be funds that are supported by charges for services, so water, sewer, landfill funds.
Early, can I ask a quick question here?
Sure.
I don't quite understand how the landfill is, an enterprise fund. What service do we provide for the landfill?
So that's actually a recommendation that we have in our management letter. So the landfill fund, it kind of has 2 components. It has the garbage component, and then it has the landfill component. So we do think it would probably be more adequately presented as maybe a governmental activity in the future.
All right,
Yeah.
that's all.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, definitely agree. So that's definitely something we'll talk to Brenda about as we work on the audit next year.
All right.
Yep. So, and again, if you do have any questions, like I like when you interrupt me as we go through, so please do. Better than kind of going back through at the end. One thing I just wanted to highlight is at the bottom of this, the second line up is your unrestricted net position. So you'll see the governmental activities have a negative 6.4 million unrestricted net position. Business type activities have a 12.4 million unrestricted net position, so your total there is about a 6 million unrestricted net position. So the remaining amounts are restricted either for motor fuel tax or they're invested in capital assets. Next page is your statement of activities, modified cash basis. So this is kind of a funky-looking income statement. You kind of have to read it laying flat, looking at the 2 pages. But the thing that I'll highlight here is your change in net position for your governmental activity as a business-type activity. So on page 5, about 3 lines up, change in net position. So the governmental activities had about a $2 million decline in net position. The business-type activities had a $2 million increase in net position. So the total between the two is about a $52,000 decline in net position, so it's pretty flat here. Next page, page 6. This is your statement of assets, liabilities, and fund balances, modified cash basis for your governmental funds. Not too much to highlight here. I did want to note we do have some advances under liabilities. In the middle of the page there's advances from other funds. You probably don't see this on the reports that Brenda provides because we're not allowed to show negative cash balances, so they're then shown as a liability as advances between funds, so that's why that's there. Turn the page one more to page 8. This is your statement of revenues collected, expenditures paid, and changes in fund balances for your governmental funds. And just fund by fund, the change in fund balance, the general fund had a decline in fund balance of about $2.2 million, mostly due to some construction projects during the year, and that was in line with the decline that was kind of budgeted. That we'll go over when we look at the budget versus actual statements later on. MFT had a decline of about $74,000, and TIF had a pretty even year. Let's turn one more page, page 10 and 11. These are your proprietary funds, so water, sewer, landfill. Page 11, 3 lines up, your change in net position. So water had a decline of about $329,000. Sewer increased a little bit, $14,000, and the landfill department had a $2.4 million increase in net position. If you turn the page from there, that's your notes to the financial statements. So this is just has your significant accounting policies, and then it has a little more detail on some of the numbers that are included within the financial statements. The one thing I was going to highlight was page 18. One thing that we look at when we test your cash and investments is compliance with your investment policy. So your investment policy requires pledging of collateral for balances that are in excess of your FDIC coverage. And we tested that, and we're pleased to report the village has no deposits that are exposed to custodial credit risk, so everything was properly collateralized.
Did you hear that, William?
No, I couldn't hear everything real well, sorry.
Spending were covered by FDIC insurance.
So if you had more than 250 above that,
right.
then you had collateral pledged for anything in excess.
Right.
So that's just a test we do every year to make sure everything's covered. I'm not going to go over the rest, there are a few more notes that are just, again, a little more detail on what's already included in the financials. If you flip a few more pages, there's a few more tables back here, your budget versus actual schedules, so starting at page 25.
What page?
25.
Since we're on a cash basis, how do you go through the whole year? Are you projecting?
What do you mean?
Well, this says year ended April 30th, 2019, but they're using a cash basis, so they haven't.
So it's just what was spent as of that day, so it definitely can be,
Or collected.
Exactly, yeah.
Right.
So there could be, a check that could come after that, but we just have that cutoff date, so, yeah.
What was the cutoff date?
April 30th,
All right.
so it's anything as of.
Your fiscal year ends when?
April 30th.
And you're doing it till now, right, but our fiscal year, the same fiscal year ends April 30th. Oh, you're doing last year's, never mind, forget it.
No, that's okay. Yeah, it's definitely kind of a later presentation this year, and certainly would expect it to be earlier next year. It was just kind of the change in auditors and kind of a little later stuff.
Sorry,
this
that's my
year.
fault.
No worries. So I just wanted to touch base a little bit on the budget versus actuals. And as I had kind of discussed, just looking at the change in fund balance for the general fund, like 3 lines up from the bottom. So the budget was about a $2.4 million decline in fund balance. The actual was about a $2.2 million decline in fund balance.
Hold on one second. What was that, William?
Wasn't me, it was the radio, sorry.
Oh.
It was exciting, thanks.
Thank you, William.
Yeah, he's missing out on some good stuff. And then again, motor fuel tax fund, you know, your change in fund balance was in line with what you budgeted, and same for your TIF fund. That concludes what I wanted to go over. Just wanted to say thank you to Brenda and Sandy and the other team here for helping us out during the audit. 'Cause it's not always fun. With a first-year audit, we kind of request a lot more things, so it'll definitely go smoother next year, but we do appreciate your help during the audit.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nobody has any more questions? Any more questions?
Not on this, no.
Would you like to go over the other reports?
No, well, when I was reading them, or I'm not sure which I was exactly reading, but the separation of duties would seem to be hard for us as a village to control when we have
Yeah.
basically 3 people.
Yeah, and we agree with that. We kind of, you know, we wrote out the instances of what we think could potentially be segregated, and our recommendation is more just take a look at that, see if you can do anything to segregate. And, you know, if you can't, we kind of put it in there just as a reminder that there is a risk out there because there is that segregation of duties issue. But, you know, just, it's more of a recommendation we have to report that because.
So you were recommending that a board member, review, journal entries? Is that the way I read it?
It doesn't have to be a board member, it could be like another individual, so if she wanted, like, Brenda could do them and Sandy would review them, or just someone else within the department.
No, and I agree with that, and I agree with the fact that the person who's probably, putting in new vendors and paying invoices all at the same time is pretty tough to have them. Yeah, I know there's only 3 people, but
Yeah.
having one person do it all is, you know, something you'd have to look closely at, but I'm not sure exactly how we'd end up solving that problem.
Yeah, in all instances, you probably can't just because of the small, nature of the village, but it's just our, you know, job as auditors to point out that there are risks because of those segregation of duties issues.
All right, my last question.
Sure.
Sorry, I'm not sure you guys all want to jump in here. And I've read through them, and I'll have to read through them again. Was there anything that you wanted to bring to our attention in these? No, it's not a trick question. I'm just asking if there's anything that you thought that needed our attention.
I don't think so.
All right.
You know, like I said, it sounds like you've read through the communication material weaknesses, and then we have our, other report that talks about, the other one is more of the low level, just, you know, considerations to improve on as well. So that's like the separate management letter, if you read through that as well.
Yeah, I don't know if that one was attached.
Okay, so the auditor's communication
I'll
to
look
the
at
board.
it again, but I just wanted to know if there was anything that you thought, and if there isn't, then that's great.
No, I don't think anything that specifically needs to.
All right, then I'll reread it and we'll be fine. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's all on you.
Oh, well, and now we have Anthony from Edward Jones. Financial name.
All right. Good evening, everyone. So, talking to Brenda, wanted to, just an opportunity just to talk a little bit about, the plan, the retirement plan for the village, and just to answer any questions that anybody might have. So a couple things, so we use, John Hancock as our custodian, so they're the ones who, receive the monies and, hold the different funds and the investments. And I think that's going pretty well.
It is.
So they've been real good to work with. And I guess with that being said, is part of what I do in my job for you, to advise the village is we keep track and we just kind of evaluate John Hancock kind of every year just to see how their plans compare to other plans. You know, because we can use different custodians. You know, we could use a Principal or a One America or Mass Mutual or whatever. So, when we looked at this, John Hancock was, you know, gave us the best offer, so that's what we're using, and it still looks good. So, you know, if something comes up and we think costs are cheaper with another custodian, I'll definitely bring that to you guys. But everything looks good now. We've got a lot of investment options, so I think that's good. So I don't think that we need to change the plan or make any modifications at this point. So I think everything looks good there. From a participant's perspective, Stock market's been very generous to us over the last year, so, returns, I think, for everybody's account looks really good. So that's been well. And then I guess I wanted to highlight the deferral percentage. Again, you know, what you guys are doing is very generous, and you guys are really doing well for the employees. And it's to the point of it, you know, and I'm happy for them because they're deferring more than what they were doing before. And if you look at that and you stretch that out over, you know, 25, 30 years, that makes about $500,000 difference for them. And it's not just because you're putting that in their pocket, because you're giving them a better match, they're putting more money in too. And so what you guys are doing is making a big impact for them. So again, I just want to, you know, acknowledge that you guys have a very nice plan set up for them, so. So with that being said, I guess, is there any questions for me about the plan or anything like that?
William, do you have any questions about the retirement plan?
No, I just want to point out that, I want to thank the board for switching to this program. And the intent when we did it was to provide a better retirement for our employees, and it sounds like listening to them, that we achieved the goal that we set out to do for our employees. So thanks to the board for allowing me to make that switch and support me in it. That's all.
It's a good incentive for them to invest more.
Yeah, and it's working. You can tell by the numbers, it's absolutely working.
Beautiful. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody have any questions for Anthony?
I think there was.
Strange echo. Okay, so we'll move on to the committee reports. Community development events,
Have nothing.
finance?
It appears it was all already said.
He is the finance trustee, so he would have enjoyed this tonight too. Ordinance enforcement? Nothing. Parks?
I don't have anything this evening, Rick.
Streets?
I'm currently reviewing a couple of the projects that we want to do for next year and hope to bring something to the board on our next, meeting on the
Wonderful.
30th. Is there anybody, wants to send me an email if they had a street or streets and ditch project that they wanted, us to consider for the upcoming year, to send me an email or text or something. Other than that,
Will do.
do you have something?
Sure, but I don't have a ditch.
Oh,
Oh, I do.
you're out of luck.
Rick, I did have.
I have that too,
Go
I
ahead.
could, but I won't.
What is the,
I'm sorry, we're past you.
oh. What was the status of the splash pad? Someone called me tonight, I guess we're thinking the splash pad's gonna be a thing again? Okay.
I don't know where they got that information from.
You said
Okay.
you talked to him at IML
Who?
about a splash pad.
Oh, I just was,
Being
I know.
friendly? All right, that's what I might have
Yes.
figured, but anyway, he touched base. I said, well, I said, I'm not for it, so
Anybody have anything on utilities?
he won't call again.
Anything on unfinished business?
What's going on with, Rolling Meadows Water?
We're still waiting to negotiate with the owner out there, so the ball's in their court.
So mad at us?
Which way's the wind blowing? Public?
7068.
Hey, you can turn your thing down too.
Or just hang up.
I have a reminder.
We're pretty much done.
So Jess has something?
Just a reminder, there is no meeting next Tuesday, the 24th. The next meeting is on the 30th. And Village Hall is closed on the 24th, the 25th, and January 1st for holidays, and then we will close at noon on December 31st.
Yesterday I met with a couple who was looking to start an organization locally. So I told them I would put them in contact with Nate and John. The preliminary talks we had there, originally they were calling it a park district. That'd be a hard sell. But it's more, they're trying to start one organization to encompass all of the youth sports outside of the school in the Meridian District. So it would be one place for parents to drop off sign-up sheets, and one place for parents to drop off fees. They may be able to get, they're looking into whether they can get one insurance policy to cover all the sports instead of individual sports, each having to provide their own policies. It sounds like a really good idea, and, have you and Nate work with them, kind of liaise with them.
Something we wanna do.
I think it'd be great. If more use we can get out of the park, more activities for the kids, and then it might be able to actually grow into even,
It used to be like, didn't they used to have something like that?
Depends what the hook is.
you know, what's that?
Depends what the hook is, there's always a...
I don't think there is. I think they're legitimately just trying to do this. They had a very, they had a passion for helping with their children, their own children's sports and coaching with their own children's sports. And they kind of see where there's a, you know, it would help with officiating, it would help with, lining up parents to help with coaching and volunteering and so I mean, it's, I think it's a great idea and it's in its infancy right now, but I would love to see it nurtured and grow.
Sorry, is
I
that
think
a nonprofit?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
I don't know if they would have, I would think they would actually have, sign up as a nonprofit. More than likely, each sport would probably still keep their own funds, whatever they fundraise, but at least everything could go through one entity. And if they can have one entity, then they may be able to be value added to one another by getting, if they can get under one insurance policy, and if they have a lot more, I guess, a direction of where to go for everything. So it sounds great. It sounded great, and, but again, John being Parks and having that big portion of our village, I think he'd be the better person to be involved in that. And Nate being our new park supervisor should also be tied into that. And Jen, if you really wanted to play with it too, you could,
Calm down.
so I just wanna let you guys know I met with them yesterday, and it really sounds good. It sounds like what they're trying to do is focused on the kids and not on the parents or egos or, so, I think it'd be good. Any other things from the board?
Did I hear just right, the meeting is the 30th, Monday?
Yes,
Correct.
Thank you.
we're gonna avoid the holidays by hitting in. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Jen makes a motion to adjourn, Jared seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign? We are adjourned at 7:23.
All right, all.